Polls would indicate that coming up to Election Day. We'll have that for you shortly. Our Tom Regan has been covering the Gingrich Center contest throughout the fall, and Tom joins us live now with an update. Tom.
Don, you know those backups that we saw up in Cherokee County with Don McClellan, that's one of the reasons why I would presume we're so slow in getting results from the 6th district battle between incumbent Congressman Newt Gingrich and his challenger, Democrat Tony Center. Of course, all the folks here at Gingrich campaign headquarters are hoping that's what's happening on the national scene with all the votes going toward Clinton is not a forerunner of what's going to be happening here tonight in the 6th district. We caught up with Newt Gingrich earlier today as he was going into the polls in Marietta. He told us that he was very positive about the outcome tonight. He said that he felt that it was in his favor, that there was going to be a heavy turnout. Newt Gingrich has had some tough times in the past 2 elections. He was narrowly won primary in the summer, and prior to that in 1990 he barely won. But let's see if he has 3 political lives and whether he can survive the battle tonight. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Tom Regan. We are now getting updated results in many of the key races in Metro Atlanta.
Richard Belcher joins us with some of those, starting in DeKalb County. Richard.
Well, you know, somebody famous, probably a lot of people famous, said that all politics is local. Well, let me tell you, we've got a lot of local races that people wanting to hear about. We're going to begin with the DeKalb CEO race. That is where they're looking for a replacement for Manuel Maloof, and it doesn't look like there's going to be much trouble there. Leanna Leviton is just got about a 2-to-1 lead over Tom Cook, the Republican, about 1/5 of the precincts reporting so far. There's a health bond issue that they are voting on in DeKalb County, a $30 million health bond referendum. About 13% of the precincts reporting it is winning handily now, about 3 out of 5 votes saying yes on the health bonds in DeKalb County. In Douglas County, we have the commission chairman's race. They're looking for a new commission chairman this year. That is an increasingly Republican county, but right now Rita Rainwater, the Democrat, is winning with 57% of the precincts reporting, winning over Jim Davis. They are voting on a 1% sales tax increase in Douglas County. People out there are not inclined toward the sales tax increase in Douglas County, even though it would be earmarked for road improvements and fire vehicles. Right now it's losing 56-44 in Douglas County. We're going to the Fayette County Sheriff's race, where Johnson, the incumbent, looks like he is winning handily, about a quarter of the precincts in, 73% for for Randall Johnson over Ben Thomas. In the Fulton County Sheriff's race, this is a chance for history to be made, and it looks, folks, like history is going to be made. Jackie Barrett has an opportunity to become the first black woman to be elected as a sheriff anywhere in these United States. And right now, with about 1/5 of the precincts reporting, she is well ahead. Sheriff's race in Gwinnett County, a heavily Republican county, and the Republican, Jim Karsten, is winning over Jim Kennard, 59% to 41%. Also in the metro area, Gwinnett County Commission Chairman Lillian Webb was easily defeated earlier this year. Bob Hill, the Republican, is winning here. Not many votes counted. So a long way to go, but about 2 out of 3 votes going to Mr. Hill. In the Rockdale Commission Chairman race, about 1/5 of the precincts reported. Pointer, the incumbent Republican, is winning. That, again, is one of those increasingly Republican donut counties around the metro area. They're voting on an alcohol referendum in Rockdale County, about 1/5 of the precincts reporting yes, 53% to no, 47%. We probably have not heard the last of that one tonight. And there is about an $85 million school bond referendum in Atlanta. And if you have seen any of the pictures of Atlanta schools or heard any of the pleas of Atlanta school leaders, you know how important this is to them. About 1/3 of the precincts in, and it looks like the city of Atlanta's voters are about to approve the first school bond referendum in that city in more than 20 years. So taxpayers in the city may be on the road to paying more, but paying more very willingly.
It's like $22 on a $50,000 house, $44 on a $100,000 house.
Well, because of some of the problems with the school board, one of the indictment of Mr. Weimer and the like, there have been some real questions about whether that would pass. Early on, it looks like it's passing, and folks, we understand that you're interested in your local races. We'll get as many of them on as we can tonight. We'll be back in about an hour, and of course, back at 11 o'clock.
One of the side effects of being a little late with returns is so many people voted today. Oh, it takes a little longer to count them.
No apathy this year, thanks B.
But we're going to keep trying, and we'll have more for you in just a minute.
And Pam Martin will join us too, so stay with us.
Speaker of the Georgia House of Representatives, Tom Murphy, is up for re-election in the State House, as all are members of the Georgia legislature this year. Let's look at the results in the Murphy election so far. That's the 18th House District with not quite a fourth of the precincts reporting. Tom Murphy has 68% to the challenger Whetstone's 32%, a comfortable lead with about a quarter of the votes counted so far.
Now let's get an update on the most controversial amendment, the state lottery, which would provide $250 million set aside for education programs. Right now, you see, with 15% of the precincts reporting, it is losing with 51%. The yes is just 49%. Moving to school elections, this is where the education superintendents would be appointed by the elected school boards rather than elected at large. And as you see right now, that stands with 61% saying yes. Moving to indigent care amendment, which would authorize the creation of an indigent care trust fund to help finance health care for the poor. You see it right now with 67% of the vote. It is passing. But again, only 14% of the precincts have been counted.
As you know, we'll have more election returns for you shortly, even as some Georgians still are standing in line, waiting to get in to cast their ballots. One of the key races we haven't had much to tell you about so far is the 6th Congressional District.
And we're going to take a look at those numbers right now. As you see, the incumbent Newt Gingrich, with only 1% of the precincts counting, is ahead with 57%. And Tony Center has 43%. It's going to be a long night on this one. We thank you for counting on Channel 2 Action News for your election coverage. We'll be back at 10 o'clock with more.
See you then.
This is Georgia's 92 Votes. Tonight's coverage is brought to you by Pizza Hut Delivery, home of the half-price pizza, and by Riches, all about the South. Now, with Georgia's 92 Votes, Monica Kaufman, Don Farmer, and political reporter Bill Nigett.
Good evening again, and welcome to our expanded election edition of the 92 Vote. We'll have live team coverage of all the major races, and we'll be covering the major candidates across North Georgia.
Voter turnout today was high. Thousands of Georgians stood in line for 2, 3, 4 hours waiting to vote. Some are still waiting in line. Joining us for his expert analysis will be political reporter Bill Nigett. Also joining us for their analysis, expert also, Secretary of State Max Cleland, Johnny Isakson, who ran for Georgia governor in 1990, and from the Ross Perot campaign, Ken Gingrich. He hasn't joined us yet, has he?
All right, let's go now to some key races, and we'll begin with the Georgia race for the U.S. Senate. Well, let's start with the presidential race here in Georgia, with 43% of the precincts reporting. Governor Clinton has 46% of the vote. President Bush has 40%. Ross Perot, the independent, has 14%. ABC News has projected Governor Clinton carrying Georgia tonight. Now let's look at that Senate race. White's Fowler against Paul Coverdale, with the Libertarian candidate in there as well. With 40% of the precincts reporting now, White's Fowler has 52% of the vote. Paul Coverdale, the Republican challenger, with 45%. Jim Hudson, the Libertarian, has about 3% of the vote. The lottery, the all-important and all-controversial lottery amendment number 1, with 19% of the precincts reporting on this one. As you can see, the no votes are slightly ahead, but many votes still yet uncounted, or at least unreported to us.
Now we're going to begin our look at the Georgia congressional races. U.S. District 1, which is the coastal region. Barbara Christmas right now is behind with 45% of the vote, and Jack Kingston, a Savannah insurance agent, is ahead with 55%. That's with a little over half of the precincts counted. Moving to District 2, here we have Sanford Bishop, the state senator who defeated the incumbent Charles Hatcher for this opportunity. Right now he is leading with 61% of the vote. Jim Dudley is America's physician. This area covers now Columbus, Macon, Albany, and Valdosta. And moving over to U.S. Congress District 3, we have Richard Ray, the incumbent, way ahead with, well, not way ahead, with 53%, just 6 percentage points ahead. Is that not right?
Matt Collins.
I've got it backwards. Matt
Collins,
Collins.
the
It's
Republican
challenger. I'm sorry. I'm reading things upside down. Maybe too many notes tonight. But anyway, Richard Ray, the incumbent, is losing with 29% of the precincts reporting. And the challenger, who's a state senator and trucking company owner from Butts County, is giving him a hard time tonight.
More congressional races to tell you about now. We have 11 this year for the first time in Georgia. Let's take a look at District number 4, with 17% of the precincts reporting. Kathy Steinberg, the Democrat, John Linder, the Republican, a hard-fought contest. Some said it would be close. Let's take a look. Right now it's 55 to 45 in favor of the Democrat. This is a woman. John Linder is a former state senator. Kathy Steinberg is a state senator. In the 5th Congressional District, it is a walk away for the incumbent John Lewis, a very popular congressman from Atlanta, Fulton County. 28% of the precincts reporting, 80% to Paul Stabler's 20%. In the 6th Congressional District, perhaps the one best known around the country this year because of the press coverage of it, the second-ranking Republican in the House of Representatives, incumbent Newt Gingrich, is ahead at this point over Tony Center. You know how hard-fought that campaign was. You also can tell only 13% of the precincts reporting right there.
Moving to District 7 now as we go to the board. The incumbent is Buddy Darden in this race, and right now he's ahead with 57% of the vote. Darden is trying for his 6th term, and this is a rematch, by the way, with Al Beverly from 1990. Moving to District 8 with Roy Rowland, the incumbent from Dublin. By the way, he's one of 2 physicians in Congress, and right now you can see he has 60% of the vote with 45% of the precincts counted. And moving to District 9, Nathan Deal has 61% of the vote, and Daniel Becker, who caused quite a controversy with the commercials he wanted to run on abortion, is behind.
Taking a look at the 10th Congressional District now here in Georgia. As you can see by the boards, with 42% of the precincts reporting, Democratic State Senator Don Johnson from Royston is leading now with 60% of the vote against the Republican challenger here, Ralph Hudgens, who is from Athens. He's a former Agriculture Department official here. Let's go now to the 11th District, a newly formed district. As I said, we have 11 members of the U.S. House this year for the first time because of the growth of our state. With a little more than a third of the precincts reporting, it would seem to be that Cynthia McKinney, well known for her in her own right and of course because of her father, is building up a sizable lead of 70% over the challenger there, Woodrow Lovett, a farmer from near Augusta. That's the 11th Congressional District.
You know, Don, as you look at the congressional races, one of the things that it's interesting there is that for a while, Republicans thought with redistricting they could pick up a number of seats. Then the Democrats said later on in the race, no, you're not going to do it. Well, right now it appears that Republicans are in striking distance to pick up 2 more seats. Down in the 1st District, Jack Kingston, a Republican, winning right now in a seat that was vacated by Democrat Lindsey Thomas. And in the 3rd District, Matt Collins appears to be doing a pretty good job against Richard Ray. So we could have a few more Republicans in the Georgia congressional delegation, depending how the night goes, Monica.
And depending upon how Newt Gingrich goes. So far, he's been the lone one. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, the Gingrich people think that race is pretty comfortable right now. Their late polling suggested they were going to win it. So we'll see if they're right.
Okay, we could end up with 3. Well, now we're going to take a look at the Georgia Senate race. If you look right now, you see that Weish Fowler is ahead with 52% of the vote, Paul Coverdale with 45%, and then Jim Hudson, the Libertarian candidate, has 3%, and standing by right now is Weish Fowler, the incumbent, talking with our Steve Gasquet.
Well, folks, just a few minutes ago, there was jubilation here at the Weish Fowler headquarters when he was declared the projected winner by ABC, and now the senator joins us live. Senator, that must have been a good moment for you.
Well, it is, and I certainly appreciate the enthusiasm of my supporters, but it is too early to tell. As you know, and as I'm sure Bill Nygett sitting there knows, these are precincts and not percent of the vote. We don't know where these precincts come from. Still very, very early, and I'll be a lot more confident when we got a lot more people voting in.
So you're at this point not prepared to make an acceptance speech?
No, it's a little too early for that. I feel very good about it, but I like the people to have their votes counted, and these projections based on precincts and not on vote totals sometimes are wrong.
Senator, could this be an issue where you were perhaps riding in on Mr. Clinton's coattails? He did quite well in Georgia.
Well, I'm very proud of the fact that Georgia went for Bill Clinton, and I think that is a testimony to the country. With Georgia's a bellwether for the rest of the country. It shows that he campaigned on the issues and positively. And if it takes his coattails to carry this heavy water across the finish line, then I'm delighted, because I want to be there to help him govern.
Well, Senator, thank you for joining us live. And right now, folks, we are going across town to the Coverdale headquarters where John Alston is standing by live. John.
Well, Steve, the